GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Montreal. I'm CJ Waterhouse. We'll dive into how this rain is sweetening our strawberries and nudging prices down, plus the city's $40 million investment in police body cameras. Expect a scorching heat index of around 40 degrees tomorrow and moderate traffic delays from road closures. Over to you, Jeff.
The Montreal Film Lab announced its closure next month, citing declining local investment as the primary factor behind the decision.
The shutdown will impact roughly 30 local filmmakers who depend on the lab's equipment, mentorship programs, and networking events for their projects.
Founded in 2011, the lab has produced over 100 short films that have screened at international festivals and earned several awards.
Our schedule is packed, community stories await with interviews, updates, and local highlights. Lots to get to. Let's begin. Good morning, Montreal.
Rainfall across the island's outskirts is doing more than just soaking fields. It's sweetening the season's strawberries. At a family farm just beyond the city limits, a spell of rain has swollen the berries and boosted their natural sugar levels, according to local agronomists. The farm, set in the off-island community of St. Laurent, logged bricks measurements roughly 2 points above the typical seasonal range, a figure that pastry chefs say can tip the balance toward a richer jam. The extra moisture also lifted overall yields, meaning more fruit on market shelves and the prospect of lower consumer prices. Food specialists say the combination of higher volume and enhanced flavor could translate into modest savings for shoppers during the peak summer buying period. While producers welcome the boost, they caution that an overly wet harvest can bring logistical challenges, though early reports suggest the current crop is handling the conditions well.
City officials unveiled a $40 million plan to outfit every uniformed officer with body-worn cameras. The funding, earmarked by the Municipal Council yesterday, will cover purchase, installation, and training for the police service. Officials say the devices will record interactions in real time, providing an independent record of confrontations and aiming to increase accountability. The rollout is slated to begin this summer, with full deployment expected by next year. Montreal Police Chief Jean-Claude Tremblay said the equipment will be integrated with existing dispatch systems, ensuring footage can be accessed promptly. Police leadership welcomed the investment, noting the technology aligns with modern policing standards and public expectations. Critics have long called for transparent measures after several high-profile incidents raised concerns about officer conduct. Community groups expressed optimism, hoping the visual record will help settle disputes. City's Budget Committee approved the allocation after a thorough review, emphasizing fiscal responsibility while addressing community trust.
Farmers in Quebec's Montérégie region are opposing a proposed 100-megawatt wind energy project slated for development on farmland. The municipality overseeing the area received the proposal earlier this month, prompting local agricultural producers to say the turbines could interfere with crop production and livestock operations. Officials from the Provincial Renewable Energy Office confirmed the project aligns with Quebec's broader strategy to expand wind power, but they have not yet issued a final decision on site placement. The farmers' group has filed formal objections and is seeking a review of the plan's impact on agricultural land. The objection was filed on Sunday, June 28, as the province targets an extra 5,000 megawatts of wind capacity by 2030. Provincial officials said a public hearing will be scheduled within the next 2 weeks to assess the concerns.
Volunteers from the local Venezuelan community transformed the Araparadou Plateau on the plateau into a bustling hub of relief work yesterday. After the twin tremors that rocked Venezuela on June 24, donors flooded the restaurant with food, medical kits, and household items. Community members spent the afternoon sorting boxes, repacking essentials, and loading them onto trucks bound for the crisis zone. The effort, organized by volunteers familiar with both the restaurant kitchen and the needs of their homeland, turned the familiar scent of arepas into a symbol of solidarity. Organizers said the packed shipments will travel to relief centers in Caracas and surrounding regions later this week, aiming to reach families displaced by the earthquakes. The initiative highlights how diaspora groups can mobilize quickly, turning a neighborhood eatery into a lifeline for those back home.
At the Buffalo draft on Tuesday, the Canadiens added Russian forward Timofey Runso on the second day, a move aimed at bolstering their depth ahead of the upcoming season. Across the board, Toronto completed a defensive shuffle, sending Brandon Carlo to St. Louis in exchange for 2 third-round selections. The trade gives the Leafs additional options as they look to retool their blue line, while the Blues acquire a seasoned defenseman to shore up their roster. Runso, a former junior standout, joins a Canadiens roster that has already begun to reshape its forward group after a mixed campaign. Fans in the Bell Center welcomed the news, anticipating how Runso's speed could translate to the level. The deal also marks the first time Toronto has moved Carlo since his 2022 acquisition. Both moves were finalized before the draft concluded, underscoring how quickly teams try to position themselves for the next campaign.
Later we'll break down the sweltering heat index set to hit 40 degrees Celsius this July 1st. Plus more, stay tuned, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad you stayed with us. Let's dive into what's happening across the city, and now Jeff Laflamme with local stories.
The Meteorological Service has issued a heat warning for July 1st, projecting a heat index that will climb to roughly 40 degrees Celsius across the city. The combination of high temperature and humidity means the perceived temperature will feel as hot as a midsummer furnace. Officials are urging anyone who plans to move house or apartment on that day to carry a bottle of water and pause frequently to hydrate. Outdoor movers should also schedule the bulk of their lifting for early morning or late evening, when the index will be lower. The alert comes as the city prepares for a string of hot days, and health agencies remind the public that prolonged exposure to such conditions can lead to dehydration and heat-related illness. Residents are asked to keep cool and stay aware of the forecast.
Yesterday, Quebec's Auto Insurance Board joined forces with the Provincial Motorcycle Association to push riders toward a new safety option: portable airbag vests. The agencies say the lightweight vests, which inflate on impact, can cut the severe injuries that often prove fatal in crashes. Motorcyclists across the province are being urged to add the gear to their regular protective equipment, especially as the region continues to see a steady stream of motorcycle-related deaths. Officials stress that the vests are easy to wear under a jacket and cost less than many traditional armor pieces, making them a practical addition for commuters and weekend riders alike. The campaign aims to lower the province's fatality rate by encouraging a simple, affordable technology that could protect riders on the road today. Studies suggest that airbag vests can reduce head and chest trauma by up to 50%.
Yesterday, the city of Mercier submitted a formal petition to the Quebec government demanding action on the chronic gridlock that plagues Route 138 on the South Shore. The petition outlines years of resident complaints about bumper-to-bumper traffic that has turned daily commutes into lengthy delays. Municipal officials argue that the bottleneck not only hampers workers heading into the downtown core, but also disrupts deliveries and emergency response times. By appealing to provincial authorities, the city hopes to secure funding for infrastructure upgrades, improved signaling, and possible lane expansions. The move follows a pattern of increasing frustration among drivers who have long endured rush hour snarls on the highway. City representatives said the petition marks the first coordinated effort to press the province for a lasting solution. Officials plan to monitor traffic patterns and report progress to the public next month.
Alberto Contador, the 7-time Grand Tour champion, touched down in Montreal on June 27. The former champion is joining the local broadcast team as an analyst to walk viewers through the Road Cycling World Championships course. With the city gearing up to host the 26 UCI Road World Championships, Contador's insight will highlight the climbs, descents, and technical sections riders will face. He will break down the route's toughest segments, point out where the peloton can gain an edge, and share stories from his own racing career that mirror the challenges ahead. Residents can expect his commentary during the pre-race special slated for tomorrow, giving a fresh perspective on the streets that will host the world's top cyclists. The preview promises to blend expert analysis with the excitement of seeing the city's streets transformed for a global event.
The city's film production laboratory closed its doors on Friday, citing a sharp drop in local audiovisual investment. The owner said dwindling funding forced the shutdown of one of the few North American facilities that can develop film for professional projects. The lab, a resource for independent creators and larger studios, had provided on-site processing that saved crews time and money compared with sending reels overseas. Its loss means Montreal-based filmmakers will now face longer turnaround times and higher costs, discouraging new productions that contribute to the local economy. Industry analysts note the closure reflects broader funding challenges across the province's creative sector, raising concerns about the region's ability to retain talent and attract projects. The laboratory, which opened in 2000s, employed a crew of technicians and serviced dozens of productions. Its shutdown will eliminate several jobs and may compel crews to travel to distant cities for processing.
Let's get a look at your afternoon forecast with our weather team.
A powerful western jet stream is pulling warm air north, setting up a dry, sunny afternoon across Montreal. On this date, the all-time heat record stands at 31.2 degrees Celsius, set in 2021 during an unprecedented late June heat wave that pushed the province into the upper 30s. The cold record is 9.2 degrees Celsius, recorded in 2024 when a sudden Arctic dip slipped south behind a fast-moving trough. By contrast, the climatological average high hovers around 25 degrees and the average low near 15 degrees. Those normals show how today's forecast sits comfortably between the extremes. The live radar is completely blank across southern Quebec, with no echoes over the St. Lawrence Basin. A high-pressure ridge sits over the region, and the swift western jet stream is aloft, steering any moisture far north of us. With surface air remaining dry and the pressure trend easing lower, there is no lift to generate rain. Expect the clear sky to persist through the afternoon, then gradually fade as the sun dips. At noon, Montreal sits under a crystal clear sky, with the thermometer reading 25 degrees Celsius and humidity near 76%. A weak southwest breeze of 3 kilometers per hour drifts across the city, while the overarching pressure field is high but beginning to fall, hinting at a gradual loosening of the ridge. Overhead, the jet stream races westward at about 162 kilometers per hour, keeping any upper-level disturbances well to our north and preserving today's dryness. Temperatures will climb steadily, reaching 28 degrees by mid-afternoon before easing to 26 as sunset approaches at 8:47. The UV index peaks at 7, and with no watches or warnings in force, the day remains untroubled. Turning now to the 5-day outlook. Monday repeats today's pattern with a high of 28 and a low of 16, the sky remaining clear as the ridge holds firm. Tuesday introduces a surge of Atlantic moisture. The jet stream dips south enough to bring cloud cover and a 50% chance of rain, pushing the high to 30 and the low to 20. Wednesday clears again, the ridge rebuilding and temperatures soaring to 33, while humidity stays moderate. Thursday stays warm at 31 with partly cloudy skies as the jet stream slides east, limiting further rain. Friday caps the week's thermal swing from the low 20s to the low 30s, offering a classic early summer rhythm. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
We'll review traffic delays from the road closure, preview the Montreal Film Lab farewell, and talk Canadiens' draft pick. Stay tuned, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
The biggest headache right now is the major closure at St. Patrick Street and Bridge Street in Lesotho. All traffic is diverted onto St. Anne and into Maisonneuve, adding roughly 15 minutes to a typical trip across the borough. The detour also forces trucks onto residential streets, so expect extra noise and slower flow in the neighborhood. On Cavendish Boulevard, crews are reducing the lane count for resurfacing. That work is limited to the stretch between Saint Laurent and St. Denis, shaving a lane off each direction and creating a short bottleneck during peak north-south movement. Aside from those 2 points, the rest of the network is moving freely. Expect the afternoon rush to stay moderate, with the closure remaining in place until the end of the day. Drivers heading downtown should allow a little extra time, but no further surprises are on the horizon.
Montreal Jazz Fest kicks off summer with its headline highlights, the 46th annual celebration lighting up the city's streets and stages. Music lovers can expect surprise collaborations, world-class jazz lineups, and a vibrant atmosphere that turns every corner into a concert hall. On the food front, Les Premiers Vendredi's Street Food Festival rolls through the downtown core, gathering over 40 food trucks, live entertainment, and cultural celebrations for a weekend of flavor you won't want to miss. It's the perfect excuse to sample global bites while the city buzzes with summer energy. For a visual treat, Cirque du Soleil's Echo exhibition opens at Time Out Market, showcasing never-seen backstage moments in a stunning photo display that captures the magic behind the circus. Walk through the gallery and discover the artistry that fuels the world-renowned show. All 3 events are happening now, so step out and make the most of this lively Sunday. And now here's Jason with sports.
Here's the latest on Montreal's draft picks and upcoming development camp. Montreal added OHL right winger Wesley Royston in the 6th round, choosing him with the 190 overall pick. The 6'4" forward comes from the Owen Sound Attack, after a junior stint that began with the Erie Otters and concluded this season. Prospect Gleb Pugakiev is working to finalize his paperwork ahead of the Canadiens' development camp, set to start next week. If cleared, He will join fellow prospects Ivan Demidov and Alexander Zhuravsky as the organization evaluates its upcoming talent pool. Montreal closed the 2026 draft by selecting Tyler Dekos with the 224th overall pick, the final selection. The over-age forward, a Canmore native, is slated to join the Penticton Vs of the WHL for the 2027 season.
Mistral AI, the French artificial intelligence leader, has just planted its Canadian hub in downtown Montreal. The new office will bring a team of researchers and engineers who will work alongside the city's world-class talent at institutions like Mila. In partnership with the government of Quebec, Mistral will help shape digital sovereignty and ensure responsible AI integration across the province. This expansion not only accelerates the company's growth, it deepens Montreal's reputation as a North American AI hotspot, creating high-tech jobs and fostering collaboration between industry and academia. For Montrealers, it means more opportunities to build the future right here at home. The hub will host meetups and hackathons that link students with mentors, sparking new Montreal AI ventures. And later, a heartwarming look at Montreal's Venezuelan community rallying relief supplies for quake survivors. Stay inspired, we'll be right back.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From city hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMna for the local sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
The City Council just gave the green light to a 12-kilometer network of protected bike lanes downtown today, a move that could reshape commuting as the summer rush approaches. Officials say it's a big win for sustainable transport in Montreal. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, CJ Waterhouse. I'm standing in the marble-clad council chamber of Montreal City Hall, the air humming with the shuffle of papers and the low murmur of councillors settling into their seats. Sunlight streams through the high windows onto the polished floor as Mayor Valerie Plont steps up to the podium, her voice steady as she frames the city's push toward greener mobility. Behind her, a digital map flickers, tracing a 12-kilometer ribbon of protected bike lanes that will snake from the Old Port along Rue Notre Dame to the Plateau. The council votes, a roll call of 22 in favor and 5 against, and the motion passes. Construction crews will break ground in September, funded by a $30 million provincial grant and municipal budget. For commuters who trade traffic jams for pedal power, the new lanes promise a smoother, greener ride. The decision marks a decisive step toward sustainable transport as summer rush looms on the horizon. Carl Dumont virtually at City Hall.
On a breezy evening at Place des Festivals, the heart of downtown Montreal, a small crowd gathered beneath the glowing canopy of the Jazz Festival's main stage. From the Saguenay region, the duo Anguin de Poitrine stepped onto the wooden platform, their instruments, a weathered upright piano and a brass saxophone glinting in the twilight. As the first notes floated out, the city's usual hum softened, replaced by a warm, rolling melody that seemed to hug each listener. A young mother, cradling a newborn, whispered that the music reminded her of lullabies sung on her family's porch back home. A street artist paused his spray paint, his brush hovering mid-air, caught by the gentle swing of the rhythm. The climax arrived when the saxophonist lifted his solo into a soaring, improvised line that echoed across the plaza, drawing spontaneous applause from strangers who had just become friends. In that moment, the festival proved its power to stitch together stories, one beautiful chord at a time. It's a reminder that music can turn a bustling city square into a shared, quiet home.
From the modest office on Rue Saint-Antoine, where the Canadian scouting staff pore over endless spreadsheets, the excitement of the national draft rippled through the building. In Buffalo, at the gleaming KeyBank Center, the Canadiens' representative stepped up to the podium, the crowd's murmur rising like a low tide. After trading a future third-round pick to climb 2 spots, the team announced the selection of Russian power forward Gleb Pugachiev with the 26th overall pick. The moment was punctuated by a crisp slide of his photo across the screen, a grin that hinted at both confidence and humility, and a quiet gasp from the veteran scout who had first spotted him skating on a frozen pond in Novosibirsk. The room in Montreal erupted in a restrained cheer, the kind that only a well-timed draft choice can elicit, as colleagues exchanged nods and a single coffee mug was lifted in silent toast. It's a reminder that even in a sport driven by statistics, the simple act of finding a player who fits the culture feels like a small, shared victory. The Canadiens' future just became a little brighter.
Thanks for joining us, Montreal. It was great to see Alberto Contador in town, sharing his insight as a Road World Championships analyst. Stay tuned for tomorrow's stories, and as always, we'll be back at lunch with more of the news that matters to you. We appreciate your curiosity and your support.